Hey everyone, Algonath here from The Right Way, and a bit of a video on US politics. Ever since Donald Trump came into the US politics limelight, I've been really interested in US politics, being conservative myself. I didn't like everything that Donald Trump did, and thought some of the things that he said on Twitter were a bit stupid, but I fully believed in what he was doing, and the economy was just a powerhouse under his leadership until COVID came along, and then the Democrats used that to smack him. If COVID hadn't come along, he would have been in for the second term. But let's have a look at what's happening now in some of the elections for some of the states in the US. So, very surprising result in the state of Virginia. Republican Glenn Youngkin wins Virginia governor's race in a blow to Biden. Oh dear. Not looking good for the Democrats if a Republican can win in a state which Biden won with over 10 percentage points difference. That's pretty huge when on the voting front. So this is from The Guardian. So remember, The Guardian is a left-wing media organisation. So they're going to say some things about Glenn Youngkin because of their particular views. Joe Biden suffered a bitter political blow on Wednesday when Democrats went down in a shock defeat in the election for governor of Virginia. The Democrat candidate Terry McAuliffe had campaigned with Biden and Barack Obama, but it was not enough to prevent the Republican Glenn Youngkin pulling off. Oh my God, they had Biden and Obama going for, with this guy Terry McAuliffe to get him back, and that wasn't enough for voters to vote for them. Probably if you hadn't taken Biden, you might have actually got back in Terry McAuliffe. Probably Biden is the one that caused you to lose. Um, The AP called the race for Youngkin in the early hours of Wednesday morning. The Republican took an early lead after polls closed that he maintained throughout the evening, while McAuliffe lagged in key counties that Biden swept in 2020. Ooh, that's pretty bad. Telling you that they're not liking what Joe Biden is actually doing. Sleepy Joe, he's having a good sleep at the Flop 26 climate change conference. Clenching his fists, then clapping his hands, Youngkin addressed jubilant supporters in Chantilly just after 1 a.m. Alrighty, Virginia, we won this thing, he exclaimed. How much fun! The 54-year-old political neophyte, so he's just really new to politics, described it as a defining moment for millions of Virginians sharing dreams and hopes. Youngkin promised, together we will change the trajectory of this Commonwealth, and friends, we're going to start that transformation on day one. There is no time to waste. Awesome to hear. In a nod to what is becoming his defining campaign issue, the Republicans said, we're going to restore excellence in our schools. We're going to introduce choice in our public school system. Friends, we're going to embrace our parents, not ignore them. We're going to press forward with a curriculum that includes listening to parents' input. So he basically went on a campaign about the critical race theory, which is being taught in schools, as well as all the LGBTQI plus alphabet nonsense, transgender nonsense that's being taught in schools over in the US, and that really resonates with parents because they don't want that kind of rubbish being taught to their kids in school. I'm in New Zealand. Unfortunately, we have no say about what is taught. The curriculum is set up by the government of New Zealand, so it's nationwide, and unfortunately we just don't have any say on that kind of stuff. And there's not enough people that would actually go out and protest for that kind of thing. As on the campaign trail, Youngkin did not utter the name Trump. The battle in Virginia had been seen as a litmus test of Biden's presidency 1 year after he won the White House, and it coincided with his agenda stalling in Congress and his approval rating sinking to 42%. Oh dear, you're well over 50%, Joe Biden. But your utter shit show of Afghanistan, the economy, vaccine mandates, all of that is just bringing you down. But of course, the left wing cannot concede. The fight continues, said McAuliffe in a speech on Tuesday night, thanking his campaign staff for a hard-earned, hard-fought race, but stopping short of concession. Just concede, right? Be the bigger person. And then don't go afterwards going, oh, we can't trust the results, we need to do a recount and stuff, because you'll be doing exactly what Donald Trump has said, and you lambasted him for that. We've got to make sure we protect women's rights to choose here in Commonwealth of Virginia. We've got to make sure everyone gets equality, affordable health care. Everyone's entitled to a world-class education. Yep, just get rid of the critical race theory, all the transgender nonsense, and focus on the actual subjects that will give young people the skills they need in a modern economy. And that is probably what Youngkin is actually going to do. McAuliffe's all-out effort to portray Youngkin as an acolyte of Donald Trump proved less effective than Republicans' laser-like focus on whipping up parents' fear and anger about culture war issues in Virginia's schools. Youngkin made false claims that critical race theory, an analytical framework through which academics examine the ways that racial disparities are reproduced by the law, is rampant in the state's education system. In fact, it is not taught. That is bullshit. It might not be part of the curriculum, but you can bet that the schools are actually teaching stuff, that kind of stuff, but it's not officially part of the curriculum. His campaign zeroed in on perceived gaffe by McAuliffe at one of the debates. I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach. That is an absolute no-no. You don't tell parents that, because in the US, they absolutely have an influence on what is taught in schools. So good on him for losing. Just shows you how arrogant these Democratic people actually are. So no Republican had won a statewide office since 2009, and Biden bet Trump in Virginia by 10 percentage points, meaning that a Democratic loss here would reverberate across the nation. So Joe Biden must be getting a little bit worried with the midterm elections and things going up. It could be that the Democrats lose the Congress, lose the House, and possibly even the Senate. That would be an absolute disaster for Joe Biden. But they went with a crappy person, so you get what you get. Meanwhile, in New Jersey, a similar story was unfolding as the Democratic Governor Phil Murphy fought to win re-election against his Republican challenger Jack Ciattarelli. The race was too close to call, with Ciattarelli narrowly ahead. If Murphy holds his office, he would be the first Democrat re-elected as the state's governor in 44 years, while a defeat would bode ill for National Democrats. In fact, let's have a look and see how Jack Ciattarelli actually got on. So while Democrats were bracing for an upset in Virginia, perhaps the biggest shock out of Tuesday's election was the tight race for governor in the deep blue New Jersey. Polls have shown for months that Governor Phil Murphy, a 64-year-old Democrat, has a comfortable lead, as much as 11 points. But no, look at the scores. So Ciattarelli is 49.7 and Philip Murphy 49.6. So we can see that in a heavily Democrat state, the Republican person is actually doing really, really well. So another might possibly be a nail in the coffin for sleepy Joe Biden. Alright, so as McAuliffe's election night event at a hotel in Tysons, Virginia, giant TVs that had been showing the cable news coverage were switched off long before any result was finalised. Stunned supporters trailed out into the chilly night. Oh dear, had to turn those TVs off, right? Can't let people know the sad truth about what's going on. It goes on to a bit of some left-wing nonsense that his supporters talk. I'm not going to talk about that kind of stuff. Although I love Trump's statement. This is good. Trump said in the statement, all McAuliffe did was talk Trump, and he lost. What does that tell you? Fake news. I guess people running for office as Democrats won't be doing that too much longer. I didn't even have to go rally for Youngkin because McAuliffe did it for me. Donald Trump is just gold. Some things he says are really stupid, but some things are just so good, so funny. That is just amazing. He just runs rings around Joe Biden. But I think COVID cost Donald Trump the election, basically. So there we have it. So yeah, there's one more thing. There was some extra things that people were voting on, which is very interesting. Where was it? Here we go. So in Minneapolis, voters rejected an initiative that would have replaced the police department with a new Department of Public Safety nearly a year and a half after the police killing of George Floyd inspired nationwide protests against police brutality. Of course they're going to vote that down because you need a police department. You can reform the police department, but you need a police department to deal with actual crime, not a Department of Public Safety who go there and talk to people about their feelings, about their crime and stuff like that. So, let me know what you think. Are you happy that a Republican has won the state of Virginia and possibly might win the state of New Jersey? Or you're not happy about that? Let me know in the comment section. I'd really love to know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, you're welcome to give me a thumbs down. And if you like my content, please subscribe, as it just helps the YouTube algorithm to notice my content. Anyway, hopefully I will catch you in the next episode.